Hello? Oh, there we go. Uh, okay, I'll have to like find some. Yeah, it's on delay, so you won't hear a difference for 5 minutes. Hmm. These two can just fold. Okay, let me see if I can get up another table. Yeah, so someone asks any reason for Club GG. Yeah, it's just games are better. You don't really want to like your goal when you play is to make money, and you're never trying to just like battle it out in the toughest um toughest areas. Like that's never what you're trying to do. Here, gonna go for the value bet with the 10. I know it might seem thin to some of you, but when it goes check check, most of his king x will be betting the river himself. So when he checks twice, like it's very often weaker than a 10. And you're basically hoping a hand just like pocket nines, pocket eights, something like that calls. Here we check and get a straight. I'm gonna check and just try to check raise. Try to pile money in. If someone has king nine or ace king, so be it. It is a stand-up game pot, so we kind of have the impression of just like being more loose. Gonna go for the raise here. I'm gonna go for four bet here too, deeper with the jacks. Sizing up our four bet deeper. 3.5x is fine. Uh, Small c bet on the ace high board, and here I'm just gonna jam. If someone has king nine or ace king, so be it. Um, that's not good. Unfortunate. Sure, go once. Interesting here. We get the raise. I'm just gonna fold the flop. I think this is pretty low in our range, and we want a club to continue. So if I had jacks with a club, um, I would continue. Queens with a club, kings with a club. Those are all good continuing hands. But yeah, just jacks no club, kind of poor candidate to continue the raise. King 10, yeah, just gonna fold. Oh shit, I probably should have been thinking about the fact that I was the last. Uh, oh, I probably didn't think that one through. Oh fuck, I was paying attention to the stream. I didn't realize I was the last person left with the stand-up game. That's unfortunate. Oh, great, we get bailed out. We get bailed out, and this guy does not win. Just defending here with the queen 5. Just trying to find another table. Just trying to find one more table somewhere. Looking across all the lobbies. Here I have to call the queen. The board is really terrible for us. He has the ace king advantage, but yeah, queen is a mandatory call. Um, sure, gonna call one more time, but probably will fold the river. Here, gonna put in the 3-bet, just trying to win the stand-up game. Basically, the last person to win a hand has to pay an ante to everyone. So it's just me and this guy left. So there's a lot of value in just playing aggressively and trying to take it down. Yeah, and I'm just gonna fold here. Yeah, so it's just the two of us. It's like me and this guy. Um, with the ante, I know this seems loose on the left, but just gonna limp the 10-3. Yeah, not a great turn. The 4-5-6. Kind of have to check it back. I think we might be losing the stand-up game, unfortunately. Yeah, the 4-5-6 isn't great because his calling range is all gonna be in the realm of like, uh, like sevens, eights, nines. And this is so shit. Like, I feel like I'm always gonna get called here, but I also can't not bluff. It really sucks. It really sucks, but I feel like I'm just always gonna get called. Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, like when you have king high and you're just guaranteed to lose, you can't really be giving it up. Yeah. Joseph says a couple months back you went on a small rant at how there's more value and opportunity in bluff lines because everyone knows how to set mine or cool everyone else. Well, I'm glad that helped you. Yeah, like everyone. Oh shit! I just dropped something on my keyboard. Yeah, but yeah, everyone's like out there trying to set mine and not realizing that like you're never gonna flop more sets than the other guy. Like, sure, set mine, whatever, but like if your strategy is dependent on you hitting more sets than the other guy, um, it's a pretty not great strategy. Pretty poor card distribution here on the right. We only have 4% VPIP. I definitely play wider than that, um, but yeah. One thing that can be a little bit annoying about these clubs is that like a lot of them have a VPIP requirement, and if you just get like some bad card distribution, you just get kicked because like they think you're a nit or whatever. But it's like no, you just got dealt like 10-2 off like a bunch of times in a row. Here, gonna be checking it just because we're multi-way. Checking it just because we're multi-way. Um, kind of suspicious of this large bet. Can't fold just yet, but very suspicious of this guy betting big. I think if he barrels turn after the flush comes in, I'm just gonna fold. Here into two people, I think we do have to go for value, but I'm just gonna block it. Reason being is that when we call, like when this guy bets and this guy calls and we come along the flop, we don't really have a lot of bluffs left. Like every potential hand that we would be here with has some sort of pair showdown value, so we don't really have that many bluffs. And when you're in a line where you don't have to have many bluffs, you kind of just have to be honest about it to yourself and just be like, hey, like I don't have many bluffs here. I'm just gonna bet small. Okay, that's really interesting. Interesting. Do I get to just like call it off after? Okay, sure. You know what? Fine. I will call this off. I think this guy could potentially have some bluffs. Okay, he just has worse for value. Okay, that's too thin. Like that's by far too thin on his part. Way too thin. Um, yeah, like that's just a complete overplay of trips. And that's something you have to price in occasionally too, right? Like just something you have to price in occasionally, just people overplaying their hand. Um, yeah, a lot of people overplay trips just because like they have trips, but with the flush out there, with me having a lot of potential higher trips, um, that's significantly too thin of a value jam. I'm assuming he's jamming that for value and not like trying to get me off higher trips. I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, ST says, thanks for the red line stuff. You're welcome. A lot of people are like, oh, like, how do I get a better red line? Well, the answer is you bluff more. That's, of course, the art is in understanding how to bluff and not overdoing it, right? It's very easy to overdo it, punt off your stack. God, how hard is it to get a third? Just one more table up here. Fuck, I need to pay more attention to the stand-up game. I really feel like I don't pay enough attention to it. I will say I am not studied at all in stand-up game dynamics, so I'm probably a bit of a fish with the stand-up game dynamic going on. That's a little like squid here, like when. How do I get another table? How do I get one more table? another game running on here? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, so I'm not the last one for the stand-up thing yet. So I'll just fold this. God, I feel like such a fucking nit with 7% VPIP. It's not not ideal for sure. Mm, okay, have to try to find a way to win with this ace-5 here. There's too many. My VPIP's too low, and I have to win the stand-up game somehow. So let's think. Let's think. Let's think. I mean, the most reasonable way would be to play this as a 3-bet. Okay, never mind. Now we have to fold. Squiggly Diggly says he could have been bluffing right. I'm assuming you're talking about the ace queen hand. And yeah, I mean he could have been bluffing as well. So the thing is when you kind of take like a weak size, like just like a third or something, you have to be more willing to call it off because people will interpret that as weakness. What's happening here? Sevens versus jacks on this board. Seems reasonable. Great. We're about to lose a second stand-up game in a row. I think I have to beat this guy out. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm pretty not good at the stand-up game, TBH. Okay, finally, a reasonable hand. Have to actually play it. We'll be playing it aggressively as a 3-bet. The thing is you have to keep in mind, if we lose this hand, we have to pay the blind, which is 3 big blinds per person. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like 20, 18 big blinds or something. Um, yeah, and that basically means we really, 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 really want to win this hand. To the point where we have to get all in against this guy if he shows aggression. Playing gates here as a 3-bet. Yeah, if this guy jams, we just have to call it off. Like, one, he's going to be very incentivized to jam because he wants to win as well. And two, you can think of the 20 big blinds as like an additional money in the pot, right? Because we lose that if we lose the pot, so you can think of it as just additional money in the pot. Um, which does mean that, like, yeah, we have to have to pay it off. So yeah, one, we're getting better odds because of the implied blind, and two, this guy's going to be more incentivized to play aggressively and try to win against us. Okay, cool. We don't lose the ante this time, which is nice. Here I'm actually going to go big bet or check. And with middle pair here, we mainly want to check this hand. Like, it's not a hand that really wants to pile a lot of money in. And happy to continue checking, just try to get to the river. Um, can't raise this because we're losing against a king. We're counterfeit against any king. So just have to play as a call. Yeah. Please, I just want one table. Okay, great. I have found my third table. So let's put that here. Fuck, how do I space this? Good enough. Okay, great. XP Gaming Pro says howdy. Howdy to you too. Okay, another stand-up game has begun. Um, nice to get dealt queens, so hopefully we don't have to worry about losing this one. Just raising the 7-5 suited up. Just don't really want to take a multi-way. C-betting with the open-ender, totally fine. Probably will be double barreling turn if called with the 7-5. Yeah, we get called. Are we afraid of the 4? Not really. He shouldn't really have a 4 that often when he limp calls. So happy to continue barreling. Push him off some ace high, some random stuff like that. Okay, cool. Get it through. Here when the turn goes check check with the queens, we'll actually be going for value if I face a check. Not just snap checking it back. Yeah. Basically, the thinking is that if he had a king, he would bet himself. So when he checks, he doesn't really have a king that often. And of course, some people will say like, oh, he'll have sometimes have a king. And yeah, sure, he'll sometimes have a king. But most often he'll just have an 8 or a 4 or a 7 or pocket 9s, pocket 10s, and those hands are going to call. So, so yeah, very clear thin value bet here. And especially with the stand-up game going on, he's going to think I'm just trying to steal the pot. Interesting. Okay. Raise. Okay. trying to think here. Honestly, given the extra money from the stand-up game, I might level myself into calling this one. Um, hmm. You know what? No, not this time. I'm not going to. So the reason I'm not actually going to call it, the reason I'm not going to call it is because when he checked it over to me, he thought for a little bit longer. And I know it's kind of stupid to like make the decision based off of that, but he thought for an extra couple seconds before checking it over. And and to me, like I read that as he has a king and he's thinking about whether he should bet for value or trap. Um, when you think about his hands that he would be bluff raising there, it like the main hands he would be bluff raising are just like one of the lower pairs, like a seven or a six or like whatever lower pairs were on the board. And those hands um, wouldn't really check it over. Like they wouldn't think to check it over. They'd be like, oh, I have second pair. I'm gonna just quickly check. And that's a very small read. And it could like I wouldn't ever like base an entire decision upon that. But when it's close, I think it's fine to like use that to push it over the edge either way. But yeah, just making the fold off of his slightly longer than normal timing when he was deciding to bet or check. XP Gaming Pro says King Queen low is big better check button versus big blinds. So what I would say to that is like don't get too boxed into like this board is like this sizing is right on this board. Like don't get too boxed into that. Um, because the EV of all the different sizes are very close. What is important though is that you have a very clear picture of your range as a whole, and you have a very clear picture of whatever strategy you pick. Um, that's what's important. Like if you're playing the big bet size, but you don't really know what you're doing and your range is not balanced and you're kind of just like playing it poorly, then that's gonna perform much worse than like using another size. So yes, in theory, if you play the big size perfectly, it's a little bit higher EV, but the big size is also a lot more difficult and a lot more complicated. So um, yeah, just have to be aware of those things. Here with the queens, we'll definitely be raising it up. Hopefully this guy raises so we can 3-bet. Just going bigger on account of the ante in the middle. A little bit of extra dead money. This low board, believe it or not good for us. Better for villain. Like anytime we're out of position and people call and the board comes low like this, it's not really great for us. Turn though, I think we can pretty comfortably start value betting. If he had a set or a straight or two pair, he would have bet the flop. So by going check check, we can pretty confidently eliminate a lot of those combos from his range. Yes, 6-7 does improve, but we're just gonna bet the river, and if he raises, we'll fold. That's what's gonna happen here. Don't mind taking a small stab here. Once flop checks through, just a small stab, trying to get folds out of random hands. I don't expect this to get through very often, but also as well, we're betting so small that we don't need it to get through very often. Okay. Let's go like 240. Go for the overbet. The 5 is really nice because now like we have the overpair advantage and he almost never has overpairs. So the 5 counterfeits all his 2 pairs in favor of our overpairs. And that really gives us the advantage on that card. Of course, we just get called by top pair and we look kind of stupid. It's just a fold. Opening here. Here again, I'm gonna be playing big bet or checks. Just gonna roll for the big bet. Okay, cool. We get high. Oh wait, it's never mind. It's 3 ways. 3 ways. Never mind. We can't do that anymore. If it's a turn donk, our hand's just kind of too weak. So I'm just trying to send something to someone. 1 second. How do I? Okay, just gonna top up here. Queen 10, I think with the ante it's a fine open under the gun. Like this is a little bit loose if I'm being honest, but I think with the pretty substantial ante it's fine. Like when you're putting in a small blind every single hand, you do have to widen up a lot. Blind versus blind have to 3-bet hands like this sometimes, so this is as good a time as any. And of course, just fold with the 4-bet, not. Okay, I think we can add a fourth table. Let me see. Happy to squeeze here for this size. Roughly should be okay. Okay, so the low board, I'm actually going to check mixing bets and checks. Get a low number, so checking this. I think once it goes check, 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 just happy to block bet the river for value. Um, yeah, with our second pair top kicker. Getting value from stuff like sevens, eights, threes, fours, fives. Okay, just folding this. Here, happy to go for value. Okay, we're just getting, just trying to get up a fourth table. Don't mind me. Um, okay, maybe if I move my face out of the way. Let's see. Okay, if I put myself here in the corner and move these to the side, I think we can make space for one more. Add source. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, great. We're all loaded up. That's beautiful. This one just checking it over. Yeah, sorry guys. If I'm a little quiet, it's because I'm just trying to like manage the software and learn the software on the side. I promise as I get more used to the software, things will become more engaging. Just check calling the middle pair here. Probably a bit of a wider open, but I'm just trying to get my VPIP up a little bit. Facing double barrel. Believe it or not, actually happier to call a combo like this than something like Queen Jack, Jack 10, because you want him to have a hand like King Queen, King Jack and stuff that he can bluff. So I'm gonna call turn and then just fold river. If we face a triple barrel, I'll just fold. Okay. We lose to top pair, which is fine. Oh shit, I just realized this is the same. This is the same table that I have up on both. Man. Is this different? Okay, great. Great, great, great. Yeah, Totality says do you still play WPT Global? I do, but just not as much. It's slowed down a lot. I a lot of my action is basically just spread across basically anything and everything that's running. If you ask me what my main site is, I couldn't give you an answer. But these days, uh, Club GG is going. Guess I folded quads here. Unfortunate. I'm gonna be defending the sixes here on the the bottom left. And opening the Jack 10 again, just like being mindful to play a little bit wider because of the ante. Here, 7-8 will be 3-betting, facing open. Pretty standard. Yeah, Jack 9 will be playing, either as an open or 3-bet. I'm just looking for the stuff that's more suited and connected. King high will just be stabbing small a lot. Yeah, especially since it's so disconnected. And the 7-8 on the top left will be 3-betting no matter who opens. Just once again being mindful to widen everything up given the ante format. So going maybe something like 130. Raising this one. Just checking this one back given that we have a complete airball. Okay, and just tiny stab here, hoping to take it down. We'll be bluffing here with the Jack 9, just trying to take it down. No showdown value otherwise. And I think the 7s, given that this is one of our lower 3-bets, we can just fold, I think. Yeah, sure. So cold 4-bet. Again, just loosening up a little bit. I know this is definitely wider than normal with the Jack 9. But when you're paying half a big blind per hand in ante, you have to widen up a lot. How much exactly? I don't know. Like I'm not like perfectly studied on this format. But the good news is nobody else is either probably. Pretty clear to Fed, and the Queen Jack, not going to be folding, facing a C-bet. I know it seems kind of. I know it seems kind of loose and wide, but you have two overcards. You have a backdoor flush draw, right? Like your overcards are probably drawing very live, so no need to fold the flop just yet. The turn though, you can absolutely fold. Here, King, Queen of Hearts, no heart on the board, no draw, no nothing. Given two people, just kind of have to give it up. Like your hand's too weak to be shoveling money in via C-bet here. Just too weak. 2-4 off. I guess we can limp it. Once again with the dead money. On the turn here, we turn it open-ender, so I'm going to start trying to take it down. Just a little bit of a stab. Okay, that's interesting. Definitely can't value bet this. It's not a bluff either, so I'm just going to check and hope it checks through. Don't know what to do if I face a bet, if I'm being honest. I think if I face a bet, I probably have to just fold. But we lose to ace-king. Jack 7 here, just gonna be folding. Um, Good for N movies is Club GG, stakes equivalent to live stakes. Is 1 kg playing live 2-5? No, it's not that soft. I'd say I'd say Club GG is probably a lot softer than any sort of like public online game, but I wouldn't say it's as soft as live. Like there's quite frankly not much that's as there's quite frankly not much that is as soft as live poker, if I'm being honest. Just folding the check raise here. Ace high, you can't really do anything. Oh god, where'd my stream go? I have to pull it up again. Ace 9 on the left here will be opening. Once again, just being mindful of the fact that we're putting in half big blind each hand. Don't know what the exact range is. But yeah, to answer your question, good for in movies. I wouldn't say it's as soft as live. I would say it's probably like two stakes down on live on online. So like if you're playing 5-10 on Club UG, it's probably the equivalent of like a 1-2 on like a public site. That's my most honest opinion. Yeah, 5-10 about as soft as 1-2 on a public online site, but would be significantly tougher than live overall. It's like really hard for anything to be softer than live. Like live is truly the nuts as far as software goes. Gavin Magnuson would be the reason to play a big bet or check strategy. Um, so I you should think of it as more pros and cons. So the pros is that big bet or check strategies let you get more money in on boards that are significantly better for your range. So in theory, they are higher EV. Because they're boards that like your range has the nuts and villain doesn't, and so you can pile in a lot more money, which is obviously good for you. Um, the 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 downside is that that strategy is a lot more complicated because you now have to balance your betting range, you have to balance your checking range, you have to balance um yeah, you have to balance like all that stuff on just like all the different turns and rivers. And that's hard. That's really hard. And if you're not careful, you can lose out on any theoretical EV that you gain by just making mistakes. Lando says, "Why do you play these Club GG games? The rake's absurdly high. Are they just really soft?" They the rake is quite high. Not gonna lie about that, but there are clubs you can find that um, it's like high, but it's like not high to the point where it's like impossible. Um, right, like if you look at what public sites are raking, like if you look at GG Poker, for example, um, a lot of clubs don't have rake that's much higher than that. Like some of the lower rake clubs will have rake that's around or maybe like a little bit higher than what GG charges. And so if you're playing something like significantly softer, with like slightly higher rake than GG, like it could be a good deal. But you do have to be very careful about picking your spots. Like you do have to be very careful. You have to be very just like aware of what a good game looks like. I would not I would not advise just like blindly loading up a club GG game. Like you have to be aware of what the rake is. You have to be aware of like what the player pool is like. And if you're aware of those things, I think it can be decent. Just folding the 9-3 off here. So 10 Jack 6 is an example of a potential big bet board. Just because we have all the sets, we have all the overpairs. Um, we're doing very well here. And so with our open ender, just going to mostly bet it, but sometimes checking it too, right? So just in the theme of balancing stuff out, just rolling it on the side and sometimes checking it. Here, just going to go for the big bet with our two pair. Happy to pile in money on this board. And of course, taking the size with any flush draws, gut shots, some random trash. Oh, always nice to get queens in the stand-up game. Fuck, I haven't been paying attention to the other stand-up games. God. How many stand-up games have I lost in this? Oh my god, I probably lost so many. I completely forgot that this was um stand-up game in the left here. Or in the top right here. That's not good. Do I defend this? Fuck, I don't know. I'm gonna fold, but with the ante, it honestly could be a defend. So, overpair on this board. Happy to stack off against David on the left here, but not happy to stack off against Joe Mom. Too deep against Joe Mom, but against the more shallow player, happy to stack off. But yeah, if this guy starts raising and piling money in, I'm probably just gonna let it go at some point. He calls. I think I'm gonna barrel the turn and probably check back river. If he check shoves the turn, I'll just fold. But happy to get calls from Jack X, pocket tens, pocket nines, stuff like that. And I do anticipate that he's going to call me down a little bit lighter than normal, just given that the stand-up dynamic is in play. Ooh. Okay, I think on this brickish river, I'm happy to go for the shove. I think if you had a flush or a straight, we probably would have heard from it earlier. And just happy to. It's a little bit thin, but I think given the stand-up dynamic and just hoping to get called by Jack X, I'm happy to put it in here. Okay, never mind. He just has a set. He just has a set. That is okay. Never too terrible to lose set against overpair. It's one of those spots where you just have to take the L. Of course, not like, never too happy about it, but there's not much you can do. Yeah, he's gonna have a variety of just like ace jack, king jack, stuff like that. Um, Not gonna be barreling this one because we don't have a heart, and also we have diamonds. Like diamonds are not good because they unblock his folds. So we want to potentially barrel like more spade hands or club hands or even hands with a heart, but not too happy to barrel just with the diamond here. Like we want him to fold stuff like ace 10 of diamonds, ace queen of diamonds, king jack of diamonds, like just diamond hands that he floated with. I'm just gonna go check and hopefully we win. I don't expect to win too often, but we're gonna win sometimes. Hmm, unfortunate. I think we're probably slightly down on the stream. Up a buy in here, down a buy in here, down a little bit here and there. It's probably slightly down on the stream. Yeah, I will say I'm not very familiar with the whole like anti stand-up game dynamic. Like that's not a dynamic I'm too familiar with. Limping 10-4, this might seem fishy to some of you, but when you have this much dead money in the middle, there a lot more limping has to happen. Like you're paying $5 to potentially win a pot of 45, so it doesn't have to be good very often. Gonna overbet the turn actually. We'll stab the turn for an overbet. I have no idea if this is good. I'm just trying to take it down. Sometimes simple logic is fine. Again, I'm gonna be using a slightly bigger bet here on the low board. You can use bigger bets, you can use smaller bets, but whatever strategy you pick, you do have to know it very well. Um, and given that we have top pair, weak kicker, I'm just going to check back and see a turn. Once we turn the two pair facing the small bet, I'm gonna just raise. Our bluffs would just be random hands with a heart, stuff like Jack 10 with a heart, King Queen with a heart, King Jack with a heart, etc. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be streaming a little bit more regularly. Like I think I do want to focus a little bit more this year on growing the channel and stuff. So spending a little more time there, which naturally just involves a little bit more streaming, better editing with the videos and stuff. Three betting the ace queen. Here a four makes a straight, right? We have a gutter. Okay, cool. Gutter is good enough for me to stab. Stepping small. Multi-way, you'd be surprised that not too much large betting happens multi-way. Like the whole idea of just like potting it into two or three people is not really a thing. Bets multi-way happen very small because equities run closer and you're up against more people. So I'm just folding against the raise. Here, Queen Jack 5 going to be mostly c-betting, sometimes checking. Again, we get high. Some of these tables are dying. I have to go find myself another table. What's going on here? Open 3-bet. Okay, cool. Gonna be putting in the 4-bet. Making it a little bit larger because we're deep and we're also out of position. Yeah, about 3.5 is fine, I think. Yeah, once we 4-bet and we get the king high board, not much we can do except start bluffing. So probably gonna have to put in multiple barrels here. Okay, thank fuck we get it through. Okay, aces here, and we're still playing the stand-up game. We're the last ones, so not gonna get too much credit for our hand. Starting off with a raise. Jazz, how come you don't play in big blinds? Oh shit, I should do that. I do like to play in big blinds. I'm just kind of a boomer and I don't know how to work the software. I would like to play in big blinds. Full disclosure. Where the fuck do I... I'm gonna check this one back. Here we're gonna continue calling. Our king high actually has showdown value, believe it or not. Given that this went how do I say, like limp check. And here, once it checks down to the river, I'm actually gonna put in a value bet. Might seem thin with third pair, but yeah, like if he had anything better, we probably would have heard from it by now. And so I'm just trying to get called by ace high. I know it seems very ambitious and very thin, but you will be surprised at how thin value betting has to happen when stuff just goes check, 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 check. Raising this one up. Gonna start with a small bet. Not folding to the check raise. Have to call the middle pair. It's A little bit too early to fold, but we'll probably be folding to further aggression. Folding pairs on the flop is generally speaking a little bit too tight. Yeah, just gonna fold to this big bet. Like once the draw comes in and the straight, so it's important to acknowledge here that two draws have come in, not just one. Both the flush draw and the straight draw, and so yeah, that kind of just like really puts a damper on things. Three betting the suited ace. And just checking this over to the cold color. Anytime I get cold call, I'm kind of happy to just like check it over and see what's happening. Especially deep, like given that we're so deep, it's always best to err on the conservative side. Not folding the flop though. Once the turn goes check check, I'm very comfortable. Like I'm quite certain we have the best hand, but I don't think we can get value from worse. So I'm just gonna check it over and check call. Uh, okay. I spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. Probably try to keep the stream going for another hour. I don't want to go too long. Um, Bluffing here because we have a diamond, a club. So those are the suits on the board. So want to be bluffing with in line with the suits to block draws, and also the fact that we have a gutter and we block ace four. So it's a lot going on for us. But after I think everything bricks, now we don't want to have a diamond. So I think we'd prefer to have something without the ace of diamonds in it. So check and give this one up. Here to bluff the turn, we want something with diamonds or clubs. So something like ace of clubs, ace of diamonds. We don't want the hearts. It's kind of like the last hand. Limping the jacks to defend our limping range. If we always uh, limp weekends, then we'll never have a strong hand. Um, yeah, just going something like this size, folding. Like if you're gonna develop a limping range, you need to limp strong hands sometimes to protect that range. Like if you're never limping a strong hand, you kind of just get run over, is what I'm trying to say. King. So fire off a continuation bet. Yeah. And on the turn, there's no further value to be extracted from our hand. Like we now just kind of own ourselves against a king if we keep betting. So happy to check and start to bluff catch. This player is quite aggressive, so I do expect a lot of bluffs from him. And it's really nice that we have the diamond, so blocking flushes. So definitely calling turn. And we'll be potentially evaluating river. So this 5 might look like a brick, but I'm actually really not happy to see it because it brings in 7-8. Like 7-8 was what is another one of his potential bluffs. Hmm. I honestly probably would have called on any other, or not any other river, but Yeah, really not happy with the five, five, six, seven, eight, nine. If it was like a two or a four, I would have been a lot happier calling. Um, hmm. Okay, I think I'm content to just let this one go. But I probably would have called it on like a two or a four. I will say though, Jax there is one of our better bluff catchers. Um, Jax there probably is one of our better bluff catchers. But we'd prefer Jax over we prefer Jacks over Queens for sure, I think, because one of his main bluffs is going to be Ace Queen with a diamond. But I guess you could also say one of his main bluffs is going to be Ace Jack with a diamond. So, but yeah, ultimately I just folded because I didn't like how 7-8 came in. Um, and it might seem like a small difference to a lot of you, but him having like four more combos of value and four fewer combos of bluffs makes a big deal. This one, the Jack 10, just going to be limp calling. Um, Playing some defense. So you so if you're just tuning in, you might be wondering why I'm choosing to limp, and it's because with the antes, you're getting a lot better pot odds. So you're getting a lot more attractive, a much more attractive price on your limp. I'm gonna call the cold four bet here, given that we're very deep and I have a suited connector. Um, but yeah, when you have this good odds from the ante, you have to limp. And if you have to limp, you have to limp some of your stronger hands because your limping range can't just be weak hands. Uh, Believe it or not, I think this one is a float with just with the backdoor straight draw and flush draw. You guys would be pretty shocked at how wide you have to peel in position against small bets. Um, but nothing we could do here against double barrel now. I could be wrong this one, by the way. Um, I'm totally open to the fact that I could be wrong. But just going off what I know and the heuristics I've developed. Oh, thank you, XP Gaming Pro. I see. Okay, that's how you change it. Ah, dude, guys, not gonna lie, I hate learning new software. I'm such a fish when it comes to learning new software. But yeah, we'll be trying to do this a little bit more often, maybe like twice a week. I don't want to overcommit, but I think twice a week is probably a good number to get started on. Again, opening a little bit wider because of the antes. Checking this over with the fours. This low connected board is always going to be better for him. So just checking it over, playing defensively. We'll be calling down at least two streets. Ace King coming in for the cold four. I think this size roughly makes sense. Let's go a little bit more than 2x. It's gonna be super lame if he jams on us, but you know it is what it is. Hmm. Okay. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna block the fours for value here with the flush. Um, okay. What odds are we getting here? We have to call off 160 big blinds to win pot of 400. 40% equity. Are we getting that? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, like if you really look at his range as just like aces, kings, and ace king, I don't I don't know if you're getting 40%. The thing is like ace king is a pretty default stack off when you're 100 big blinds deep because you end up being priced in. But 200 big blinds deep, you have to kind of think about it a little bit more. So in that scenario, we had to call off 160 big blinds to win 400, and yeah, needing 40% equity is just really hard. It's just really hard because you're sure you have 50 against ace king, but you're dead against aces, and you have what, like 30% against kings. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, given like I don't think this player is like super wide and super loose. Like I don't even know if he's gonna jam queens there. Um, which is why I decided on a fold. Yeah, and again limping these hands like don't do this normally because this is very much an anti thing. Like don't just start randomly limping things. It's not yeah, just opening up the suited connector. 6-7 will be three betting. Uh hmm. Okay, facing the lead. Very interesting. Not folding, of course, but I don't think our hand is necessarily strong enough to raise. So just we'll be starting with a call and probably calling the turn too. Bottom right here, calling the flop raise. Just that we have the gut shot to the nuts and the backdoor diamond, and also calling with the 6-7 here. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, with the ace king facing the check, I'm just gonna start bluffing. Um, don't really know what to do here, if I'm being honest. We have the high end of the straight. I'm just gonna click it up. Just gonna click it up, see what happens. I think jam is not good because he's never gonna call a jam with worse, anyways. Um, and we'd also never be bluffing for a jam size, but we could presumably be bluffing for this mid raise size. So I like the mid raise. Let's follow this one. Okay, playable hand on the top left. Raising the size is fine. 4 big blinds is fine. 5 big blinds is fine. I don't think it makes a huge difference either way. Here, turning the ace, just going to keep barreling for value. I think we have the best hand almost all the time. He should never really have 4-2. Like, he occasionally might, but should be very rare. So just happy to triple through for value. Assuming the flush doesn't come in or the board doesn't get more connected, I'm pretty happy to triple for value. Um, yeah, with nothing here, with the Jack 10, just gonna check it back. We'll be trying to bluff river though. Um, if we face another check. Okay, I'll be honest. This is kind of an ambitious bluff. We don't really rep anything, but we also have Jack high and we're never good. So this is kind of one of those, like it's one of those like we don't really like if this guy stops and tries to hand read us, he's gonna realize that like we don't really rep anything. But um, yeah, just hoping he doesn't do that. Okay, fold. Not gonna double barrel my sixes. This becomes a very interesting run out. We now have six high and we're counterfeit. But we also have a lot of ace-x in our range. Hmm. I'm trying to think if there's any merit to just like min raising to try to get him off whatever bluff he has. Um, but no, I don't think that's gonna be good. I think that's a little too ambitious. I'm gonna check back here with the king high flush. Might look tight, but this is like the third nuts, right? Like we lose to an eight, we lose to an ace. Yeah, a lot of combos we lose to. When this guy donks, I'm just gonna call turn and call river. Um, Nothing to do here except just call down. Oh fuck, do we lose another Squid Game? Motherfucker. Oh, I need to be paying attention to these. I keep fucking forgetting. Okay, look, this is gonna be very tight, but I'm just gonna call. I don't think we really call. Like, if we raise, what are we hoping to get called by? We're hoping to get called by exactly the Queen of Clubs. Or Queen of Hearts. And I don't know if that's a good proposition. Okay, someone needs to remind me about the stand-up game on the top. Because I keep forgetting. Okay. We'll be going for the small bet here. Turn checking through for sure. No sense in double barreling our second pair. Just gonna check back and bluff catch. We'll probably be calling on any river. Maybe not that one. Gonna be calling on most rivers, but probably not this one. Like if he bets really big on this one, I don't think we can call because yeah, just too much value comes in for him, right? Like think about like his ace king comes in, his ace 10 comes in, his 10-9 comes in. He makes a lot of two pairs in the form of king queen, king jack. King 10 also makes top pair. He just he just has too much improved value on that card and not enough potential bluffs. Gonna be going for the double barrel here with ace 10. Just the gut shot and the diamond. Um, Putting a lot of pressure on Jack X, 9X. A lot of people might be scared to barrel here because they're afraid of the king, but villain's just not going to have a king that often. Okay, I need to I need to remember that there is a stand-up game here. It's too easy to forget. Jack 10 off will be playing this. Might seem loose, 3 betting, but I think given the ante, it's fine. Like things widen up a lot more than you might expect with the ante. And as a general rule, it's usually better to come in raising than calling. Really great board for our range. Um, Ton of ace king for us, ton of ace queen for us. Will We'll be barreling super aggressively. Definitely betting the turn big. I like that we have the diamond, the jack of diamonds, given that the flush cards are here. Hmm. Nah, not happy. Okay, well, folding. Okay, definitely gonna remember the stand-up game this time. Queen Jack. Oh, great. It's a board that's good for us. Well, that means we are blasting off. Um, yeah, ace jack, pretty standard. Just going to be three betting, I think. I think it gets a little worse. I think it gets a little worse, given that we're deep stacked, but it should be fine. Um, coming all diamonds. Gonna mix it up and go for a check this time. Honestly, like when it's this deep, you don't really want to be c betting too much into diamond. Um, Villain quickly checks back. Sure, you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind going for a big bluff here. After he checks back, he's a lot less likely to have a flush, so we can start piling with our overpairs. Interesting. Face a raise here. You know what? I'm actually gonna go for a three bet on the flop. Seems pretty crazy, but this is the kind of hand we want to do it with. Just like something that has backdoor straight and flush potential. Um, so we can potentially barrel off on any sort of seven, any sort of club, etc. And this guy's pretty aggressive, and he's gonna raise us wide, so it's nice to be able to play back. Um, yeah, pretty good for a cold forward here, I think. In position, we're deep. We have a suited ace. Okay, here just gonna check back. I would normally use a bigger bet for lower frequency, which includes some checkbacks. So roll low there, and just gonna keep checking back here. King high. Okay. Yeah, just checking this one around on the flop, but would start stabbing if it checks to us again on the turn. I like that we block ace queen and ace jack, and I like that we have some heart interaction with the heart draws. It's just a small stab and hoping people just don't have anything. Uh, Same deal here. It checks through and just gonna go for a small stab to try to take it down. Actually, I take that back. I don't like that we have no club. I take that back. I don't like that we have no club. So we'll just give this one up. Three betting the suited connector here. There's no way just like, there's no way this gets through if I bluff, right? Yeah, okay. I don't think with a bunch of people trying to win Squid Game, probably tough. Um, Coming in with the cold four bet here. Just going probably about this size. This guy, XP Gaming, interesting, interesting. Gotta see if there's anything higher. It'd be nice if I could find like a 1020. Ooh, doo, doo, doo. I'm gonna over limp here with the queen 8 or the queen 4. Do I want to come along? No. It will be flush draw. No, it's okay. Yeah, you really want to avoid just coming along out of position. Like being out of position is really bad. Like I know everyone says it, but I don't think people understand exactly how bad it is. It's really, really bad. Okay, flop goes check check, so I will start bluffing my flush draw and just three betting suited connector. Okay, hoping for a five here, but starting off with a small bet. Ace high generally just good for us. Five, please. Hmm. I think I will continue firing here actually. Okay, so first of all, block betting here. Gonna continue firing here. I know it seems thin, but you need to recognize that there's not a lot of fuck, what is this? Okay, hold on, let me figure this one out. Yeah, I think on the turn I was just trying to get folds from like queens, jacks, and stuff. Um, how do I feel about firing the river? Oh god, I guess I'm a bitch if I don't do it, huh? Sure. Unfortunate. Okay, okay. I get it, I get it. Snap by the ace. Nice hand. Oh, okay, it's two pair. Sure. Sure, sure. What I was trying to say is that, like, yes, ideally you run that bluff with a diamond. Um, Ideally you run that bluff with a diamond, but you have to be very cognizant of the fact that when under the gun opens and you three bet cutoff, you never have any offsuit hands because any offsuit hands would be like ace queen, ace jack, ace king, and all of those make pairs on the board. Um, so because you never have anything offsuit with a diamond, you're kind of forced to bluff suited stuff. And so the next line of thinking is like, okay, like what is my preferred suited combos to bluff? Like which suited combos do I want to bluff more with? Do I want to bluff the do I want to bluff the queen jack, queen 10, jack 10, or do I want to bluff like the low gutter? I'm gonna peel this one here with the nines because he four bets small and we're in position. I think if we get a nine, it could be very, very good. I'll call the turn. Again, might seem wide, but blind versus blind I think is totally fine. He could totally be stabbing queen high, jack high, 10 high on the river. Peeling one here with the nines. And here, when he goes kind of small, I'm going to put in the raise. Um, just repping some sort of flush. Nice that we have a club. Just going to call a call down here with the nines here. Kind of get lucky on the turn. Yeah, just standard putting in. Hopefully he doesn't have quads. We get it through with the king nine. That's kind of nice. Well, if he's thinking, that means he probably has an overpair. Okay, good fold. This hand probably has to call, given that it's... I think this probably has to call, given that it's ante, which is super lame. Okay, we got very sidetracked there with a lot of stuff. back to what I was saying with the back to what I was saying with the 6-7 triple barrel. You need to realize that in that line there, you have no offsuit diamonds, right? Like you never have king, queen jack off, jack 10 off, 10 queen 10 off, whatever. Um, so you're forced to triple something that doesn't have a diamond. And so the question is, which hands without a diamond are the best? Do you want to triple off queen jack, queen 10, or do you want to triple off something like 5-6? Well, the thing is, villains, the hands you really kind of want villain to have on the turn that like calls the turn and folds the river is a hand like jacks and queens with a diamond. Those are like his primary folds. So because of that, you really don't want to have a queen or a jack. Like you want something out of the way, something low that doesn't really interact with villain's range at all, which is why I chose the 6-7. And is that solver approved? Fuck, I don't know. But does it make sense in my head? Sure. Will it also put his one pair in a tough spot? Yeah, absolutely. He called me with two pair, but it will absolutely put his one pair in a tough spot. So overall, happy with my line. Wish we got a fold, but you know it is what it is. Get a tiny three bet from this guy in the small blind. So we'll just be calling. Too good of a price to do anything else. Sure. Yeah, three betting the king queen. I don't want to call with players behind. This hand doesn't play well multi-way. Yeah, c-betting the flop with the king queen here. Turn our hand is too thin to double barrel. Like villain has a lot of two pairs come in. He has ace queen come in. Too thin to double barrel, so just a very natural check. Squeezing the ace five here. King's better for villain's range. I expect to face a lot of barrels. Ah, God, I fucking. Okay, the king queen here. Okay, first off, king nine on the bottom. Can just bet for value, so I can now think about this king queen hand. And honestly, I'm probably thinking fold. Queen nine gets there, ace queen gets there. He has a bunch of two pairs. In my mind, it's very hard to find a bluff, so I'm just gonna let it go. Maybe if I had a club, but even with a club, probably not. Okay, so it checks down and he raises me. He's just representing a 5 at this point, and yeah, honestly, I don't think people are gonna really bluff raise enough, so happy to make the fold. Happy to find kings in the big blind. And we'll be four betting larger, probably something in the realm of 35 big blinds, just given that we're deep. Given that we're deep. This time we'll be stacking off no matter what. Hopefully we don't run into aces. Oh, hooray, kings again. Yeah, again, putting the 4-bet, sizing larger because we're deeper, but not as large as out of position. So we can go a little bit smaller, given that we're in position, but still large overall, given that we're deeper. Just having to size up because deep. Yeah, people are really fold happy to the 4-bet. I'm just checking down here. Hopefully that we're good against something random. Check, check, turn pair. We'll be trying to check call. Yeah, I'm not folding to this barrel, and I'll probably be calling down on some bricks as well. I don't think this is a brick I want to call down on, though. Or this is not a brick, but when he bet fine, we bet that small. Okay, fine, fine. If you want me to call, give me a good price. I'm a sucker for a good price. I'm a sucker for a good price. Okay. I'm gonna exit this one and open another table. I think I have another one available here somewhere. Uh, somewhere, let me just pull this other table up. Okay, here, just gonna put in the 4-bet with ace king, sizing up to stack off against river here. And let me Hey, good luck. Oh, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Not running very good on flips these days. TBH. Okay, so here, pretty clear. 3-bet with the eights. Yeah, and against the call 4-bet, just a call. The deeper you get, the more attractive calling these like pairs and speculative, like just like suited stuff. The more attractive calling these speculative holdings becomes. And with this guy in here as well, getting the better odds, it's just extra good. It's one of those things where if you ever hit a set, it's really good. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. So just calling here, no sense in raising. Just calling to keep everyone in. If the guy on the left has an overpair or something, he will just stack off. So definitely don't want to push him out. Guy on the left is forced to stack off with any overpair. Oh, that's a great feeling. Oh, unfortunate. Unfortunate, unfortunate, unfortunate. Such is life. Ah, and people, never celebrate too early. Did I get that one recorded? Oh, great. I think I did. Great. We can make content from that later. Yes, it's how I cope with losing hands. Every hand I lose, it's just not doing too good on the EV these days, boys. Not doing too good. We're very rich in EV and very poor in dollars. but it's okay. Every time we lose money, we can make content, and that's what matters in life. That's what matters in life. Every time you lose money, it's just content. Uh, okay. Let's see. Um, Fuck, dude. There's nothing I hate in the world more than learning new software. I'm such a fucking boomer when it comes to technology. Just like, give me something that works. Give me something that's intuitive. Um, yeah. Anyways, King 8 on the top. Great candidate for a check raise if we do face a bet. Facing a check, I think I'm going to just go for a turn stab, kind of with air. Important to do this with air sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Um, I think I'll call with the sixes here, given we're so deep. Um, yeah, I'm going to give this one up. I think bluffing through sometimes is certainly fine, but the 8 isn't ideal. I'd rather bluff something like ace jack or king jack through than have an 8. The 8's not great. Sixes have to call 1, unfortunately. We're still ahead of the overcards and stuff, getting pretty good odds. But it's not a good spot. Like, we're not really happy about being in the spot. Do expect villain to shut down on the turn though, if he has air. So kind of just hoping for a check. Please check. Okay, great. Great, 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 great. So bottom left, calling the sevens, very standard. Here just hoping the sixes check through and we're miraculously good, I guess. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to bluff my sixes. I'm going to bluff my sixes, and I will explain. I will explain why after the hand, but let me just 4-bet this thing first. Just I want to play this 4-bet pot here. Well, once we have ace king and flop top pair on the, oh phew, we got to get that one through. Nice. Okay. Once we flop top pair here, just going to be tripling it through, kind of no matter what. It really sucks if he has a flush or jack 10 or something, but you know, it's just like you can't get away from that. Yeah. Bottom right going to be barreling. So I'm going to go for an overbet. And then just jamming with the ace king here on the top left. Okay, okay, and then here, here just gonna go for the triple barrel with the 5. Can't overbet now that the flush has come in, but I can go like a normal size. Motherfucker. Not running good today. Not running good today. Not running good at all. Anyways, back to the sixes hand. Me bluffing the sixes on the river is realizing that when I call the flop, I'm almost never gonna call the flop with. I'm gonna check this one back here. We roll a really low number. I'm almost never gonna call the flop unpaired, right? Like with a player behind, I'm not floating anything unpaired. So just recognizing that we always arrive at the river paired, or almost always. And also, after I call and villain behind overcalls, he's usually going to have a pair that's better than mine. Like, he's not calling threes or fours. So, villain behind is usually going to have a pair better than me, which means I lose to him if it checks down. And player out of position probably doesn't have anything given that he checked twice. So, I'm really just trying to get the guy behind me to fold a slightly better pair. And of course, guy out of position probably just doesn't have anything. Here, can't fold against the check raise after we check back the flop. It's just one of our best pairs. Um, but I will probably fold to the river bet depending on the size. Depending on the size, I think. Okay, checks, and we just check it down. Okay, cool. Check calling the a7. Oh my god, dude, these hands come fast. Fuck. Yeah, I'll just folding here against another barrel. I think. Okay, wait. Actually, wait, let me really think this one through. So, what are his major 10x hands? Well, his major 10x hands are ace 10, king 10, queen 10, jack 10, 10 9, I suppose. Okay. How many of the pocket 10s? How many of those 10s bet the turn? Pocket 10s, jack 10, queen 10. Well, I'll check the turn. Ace 10 probably checks the turn too. So he's really just repping king 10. King 10. King 10. How many other 10x does he have? Oh god, I might just be like leveling myself here. Okay, okay. Okay, 10 9. Sure. Fair enough. In my mind, a lot of paired 10x would check the turn, and a lot of unpaired 10x would bet the flop. Like that was my assumption. Like I was, and sure, I probably overthought it. Maybe I overthought it, but I think it's very reasonable to assume that paired 10x will check the turn there. Stuff like jack 10, queen 10, pocket 10s, ace 10. And it's also I think not unreasonable to assume that like villain's just gonna stab with all this unpaired stuff on the flop. Ah, man, I'm such a fucking donk sometimes. Squeezes with the sixes because it's stand-up game. Nice. Nice. Best time to flop a set. Ah, lame. Okay, ace five suited, gonna four bet here. Um, and because we're just super duper deep, gonna go large. Everything gets bigger, deeper. Okay, so the queen 10-5 is actually really bad for us. That's because this deep we don't really four bet queens. So our four betting range is mostly centered around aces and kings. So we almost never four bet queens, and his three bet call four bet range is gonna have a lot of tens and queens. So this flop is actually very concentrated around villain, and so we're gonna play defensively and check. Um, what we want to see is something that's low and out of the way, or something that's ace or king high. Those are good for us. Yeah, just gonna keep checking. Yeah, the queen 10x is very bad. Pretty atrocious. Not really sure what to make of this now. I'm just going to try to check it down. If villain stabs, I will check fold. This is not the hand I want to bluff catch with. The hands I do want to bluff catch with are just stuff like, wow, okay, this guy just called a four bet with ace two. Neat. The stuff I do want to bluff catch with is stuff like queen x, 10x, pocket jack. Wait, I don't have jacks. Never mind, I don't have jacks. Um, Fuck. Okay, I'll let this one go. I've got my squid. It's fine. So it goes check, 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 check. It checks all the way down. Villain bets. What's he representing? Well, he's representing an ace. But could he also have a bunch of random stuff in his range? Yes. Yes, he could. Have I shown weakness? Sure. Oh, well, he got me with the thin valley bet. Respect, respect. Coming along with the 10-9 here. Pretty standard. And just check folding. Here the suited ace, I'll just come along with the with the money in the middle. You do have to just widen up a good amount. Here, ace jack, I can already tell it most likely going to be a triple barrel, just given that we have interaction around the queen jack.